Enemy down.
Subject spotted.
Reloading.
One of the top contributing factors on becoming an excellent player is your ability to avoid damage during a gunfight. And yes, good movement plays a key role to dodge shots, but there's so much more to it. So today I'll be showing you how to effectively avoid damage taken to win more gunfights, so be sure to stick around. So you probably clicked on this video because you feel like you're getting beamed for way too much damage during bullet exchanges. Well, you came to the right place. With these 4 tips, I'll have you more prepared than ever to help minimize your damage taken. So without wasting too much time, let's get into the first tip I have for you, which is to start implementing more slide cancels. While it may seem like a tiny adjustment, slide cancels are more essential than most think. To properly perform this, you must slide, then slide again to cancel. This small maneuver can create a slight distance and different angles in a very short period of time. Ultimately, this can throw your enemy's aim off during the first few shots, which can easily help limit the amount of damage you take during the first exchange. It's also important to note that slide cancels don't have to be done in one specific way. Whether you want to wait some time before canceling to further your position, or perhaps have a shorter cancel where time is of the essence. It all depends on your specific gunfight situation. But what I will say is that short slide cancels need to be timed properly, or you will get what most players call a dead slide. Implementing these slide cancels to your everyday gameplay will easily improve your movement and help dodge more shots. So let's get into the first example I have for you. Alrighty, this is the first example I have for you guys, and I have a full team underneath me. And right now I'm sort of planning to see how I want to approach this fight. Because if they're not going to push me, obviously we do have height. That's probably why they're not peeking. I'm going to have to make the aggressive play on them, and I want you guys to see how I actually push in the building. Not only it's timed with my teammate, but I also do a knee slide cancel. So I was able to get the first quick knock that way. Then I hit a basic slide jump and snap on the horizon, get some decent damage on her. And right after that, you're going to notice the quick slide cancel. Sliding is going to put me right underneath that bar table there. And then I immediately cancel it. That way I can shoot that lifeline running away, creating a quick and easy angle just from one slide cancel. Then the last one was very low, so I predicted a push around a different way and caught her out in the open outside. So the initial engagement was a longer slide cancel, and the midway engagement was a shorter slide cancel because, again, time is of the essence. I don't have time to be sliding for too long without putting out the damage. So we talked about how slide cancels can save you from some avoidable damage. Now let's get into the next tip I have, which is hip firing your end magazine. When you're using an AR or LMG especially, you don't want to constantly aim down sights during a close range engagement. Since ARs and LMGs have slower strafe speeds when ADSing, this can make you a very stiff and vulnerable target. Instead, I love to hip fire and keep a solid strafe towards the end of the magazine when firing. This will help avoid some damage during the weapon swap or reload stage by essentially putting you in faster motion and keeping movement momentum. Although yes, you can debate missing out on a 1-mag opportunity, which is where the feel of the moment comes into play. If you notice that you may have missed some initial shots and know that the 1-mag option is not there anymore, then hip firing with the end of a magazine will prepare you for a weapon swap and help negate some unnecessary damage. Also, since you're more mobile when hip firing, you can add some variety on movement and positioning. If you feel comfortable throwing in some crouch spamming, go for it. You can also strafe towards cover while shooting, which can help you get your weapon swap in a safer way. Now let's get into a quick example I have for you. So the second example, I am using the R301 and L-Star, 2 ARs, keep in mind. Right now I'm looking to put out some damage at the team on train just to hold them back because I do have a full team underneath me. If I get the better of the exchange on these guys on train, they're gonna have to heal and they won't push and third party as easily. Then I decided to push the squad on the bottom, was able to get the first knock very easily. Go for a weapon swap, and you're gonna notice right here is a prime example of when you're ADSing with an AR up close and then you want to sort of start hip firing the end of the magazine. What that's going to do is, again, put me in motion, getting me ready for another weapon swap or a possible reload or just strafing in the direction of cover. It'll keep your movement momentum high, making you a harder target to hit, which will help avoid a lot of unnecessary damage. And I was able to get a clean squad wipe on the team on the bottom because I didn't take too much damage. Alright, ladies and gents, we're speeding through this video, and if you enjoyed it so far, a like rating is always appreciated. Also, don't forget to subscribe and join the champion squad for some more awesome content. So we covered slide cancels and how hip firing your end mag can help avoid some damage. Now let's move into the third tip I have, which is to abuse head glitches. When playing Apex, most times there's cover all around you, and it's up to you to implement using and abusing it to your leverage. Whether it gives you an option to shoulder peek from left to right or being able to climb up and over, revealing less of your legend will create a smaller target for the enemies to land consistent shots on you. This is one of the main reasons you could be getting lasered all too often. So the next time you're playing, really pay attention to the landscape and objects around you. The smallest advantage can go a long way. But more importantly, I want to focus on taking advantage of head glitch style cover. This is usually my favorite way to avoid a ton of damage while still being able to put it out. Head glitch cover can be created from many things like crouching at the top of a staircase, crouching on top of a taller object or building, and so forth. The reason this is arguably the best way to avoid shots is because you have so much control on when to peek and when to stay hidden at a fast rate. This can easily throw the enemy off guard and cause them to miss a bunch of shots. Let's get into a quick example I have for you. Alrighty guys, jumping into the third example where we're going to cover abusing head glitches or just generally abusing cover. In this situation, I had a 1v2 in my hands, was able to put a lot of damage on the Octane, couldn't quite get the knock though. He was able to escape, still keeping it in a 1v2, but now essentially it's going to be a 1v1 because I did that much damage to him. So as I play the roof, this is a prime example of creating my own head glitch. When you're on top of a building, or height, should I say, when you peek, you're only peeking with your chest and above, and then you can also crouch or back up to easily take cover and stay hidden without taking any damage. So then you can decide when you want to put out damage and when you want to cover. That's going to throw the enemy off because they have to predict your exact move. And it's very tough, especially when they don't have much cover to work with. Then I go for a sort of unexpected play where I just port in their face, hoping to really get them off edge, make them a bit nervous and get in the fights all up in their face. Didn't quite work out the way I wanted to, but it actually singled out an enemy player, which was the Wraith, because she ended up taking my portal. She did some decent damage on me, but that's going to enable me to take a fair 1v1, and I was able to kill her, get the body swap, bringing it into the last 1v1. Right back to it. I'm on the same spot where I fried the Wraith earlier, but now guess what? I'm doing it to the Octane. Same move, works like a charm. Alright, ladies and gents, finally we come down to the last tip I have for you, which is to catch enemies off guard. Arguably one of the best ways to avoid damage is to essentially catch the enemies by an unexpected play. The number one reason players take a ton of unnecessary damage is by using predictable routes. This makes it that much easier for the enemy to predict and pre-aim your push or peek. A prepared enemy is a dangerous one even if they don't have as much skill as you, so be mindful on how to approach gunfights. Sometimes unexpected pushes are key even though you may have not healed up fully in a specific situation. As players progress in skill, they start to understand the regular timing of how long it takes a player to heal and push, so disrupting that a little bit can go a long way. Remember, high risk, high reward. So once you feel fully warmed up, don't be afraid to take some smart risks here and there during a gunfight. This can have a big payoff if you are hitting your shots with some decent movement. Now let's get into the final example I have for you guys today. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, jumping into the final example I have for you guys, where it gets pretty spicy. We're bringing out Pathfinder, get some really good shots on Caustic, but I don't decide to push because this is a trios game, so I'm looking to deal a little bit more damage. I'm playing my ground, backing up just a little bit. They don't push me, so I decide to re-peek and get a beautiful exchange on Gibby. Was able to one-mag him there, so now Caustic's very low. Gibby's down. Is this sendable? 100%. So I immediately looked to take height since I'm path very quickly, and I was able to capitalize on that and finish that squad. That was actually a duo squad. And I get thirded here. Beautiful shots on the first person pushing up. Now I re-peek this, but notice how I re-peek. I'm staying crouched because I know he has a teammate behind him that's also shooting at me. So while I'm crouched, I'm sort of hiding behind the enemy from the other enemy, if that makes sense. Able to get the knock, push up to play a little bit more of shoulder peek and cover since I have boxes in front of me. Just about crack that person. And in this situation, we're about the same health, but I make the aggressive, unexpected grapple push. When you want to catch enemies off guard, you need to make these unpredictable plays that disrupts timing. Thank you guys for spending a couple minutes every day with me. If you enjoyed today's video, like rating is always appreciated. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. And as always, this was Sultan D, and I'm signing off. Peace.